Let's begin today's webinar. Best practices in HR, cut costs, and improve compliance while improving employee, candidate, and contractor experiences. Today's speakers are Linda Mills, Director of Human Resources at DocuSign. Linda has over 15 years experience managing human resources in high-growth technology companies. She joined DocuSign in 2010 when the company had just 55 employees based in Seattle. She's been responsible for establishing and leading the delivery of DocuSign's human resources services to support the company's rapid growth. Today, DocuSign employs over 1,000 team members around the world, including UK, Australia, and Latin America. Linda will share her experience using DocuSign to streamline processes and create efficiencies in DocuSign's HR department. Also joining us today, we have Brianna Dinsmore, Senior Manager of Demand Generation at DocuSign, focusing on go-to-market strategy for small and medium businesses and departmental solutions for HR, sales operations, procurement, legal, and IT. Prior to DocuSign, she worked at Apple and various technology startups in sales management and sales operations. Thank you both so much for joining us. Brianna, you now have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. In some cases, good afternoon. We're so excited to have you, and thanks, Alyssa, for that warm introduction. So just a high-level overview, we're going to be giving you some details about DocuSign, understanding key trends and opportunities for the HR department, and then looking at ways that you can keep business digital. Linda Mills is also joining us today, and she'll be giving you a first-hand look at how we internally use DocuSign to recruit and onboard talent faster and keep in a competitive market. So a very cool part about DocuSign, and something you might not know, is that we are actually trusted because organizations are running mission-critical transactions. We provide the highest level of availability and security capabilities in the industry. So 10-plus years of continuous innovation has positioned us as a leader in the market. We're also global, with users in 188 countries that have DocuSign, service available in 43 languages and offices in San Francisco, Seattle, London, Paris, Sydney, and San Pablo. We're also the leader, like we said, with over 120,000 paying customers and 40,000 new users daily. We also close to 1 million transactions daily and process over our cloud network. So one of the core reasons that we see so many customers turn to DocuSign is because they continue to suffer the paper problem. And while companies have invested heavily in digital systems, they are still relying on paper to execute transactions. And as a result, end-to-end business processes are very disjointed. DocuSign's DTM platform enables organizations to transact digitally across end-to-end business processes, connect formally disjointed systems while automating paper-based and manual processes. As a result of streamlining business processes, customers have realized unprecedented value in 3 key areas, and that is return on investment, customer experience, and compliance. And here are just 3 customers that have experienced these delivered values. Salesforce, 202% ROI, while our company has been growing at a rate of over 30,000 year over year, or excuse me, 30% year over year. They have not needed additional operations headcount to process the tremendous amount of growth thanks to DocuSign. Again, Riverbed, with 90% of offers are signed in 1 day now, and so they're vastly improving their customer experience. And LinkedIn, here are some quotes from them. DocuSign has removed the hassle of getting a copy back to the customer, tracking data, and knowing who approves what, which is streamlined their compliance. And we just want to point out, we do have customers in every industry and every vertical. We literally have customers, like we said, on every corner of the planet. And the key challenges that they're telling us in human resources are the top 3 noted here: to protect profitability and compliance, recruit and retain top talent, and technology as a differentiation. So getting into number 3 a bit more, leveraging technology as a point of differentiation to support the recruitment of candidates, the distribution of internal policies, and tracking the performance of bonuses and benefits. This is a huge challenge that a lot of HR departments are seeing, and the need to increasingly work in a global organization, and the range of mobile devices has made this a top challenge as well. The points of pain, as we've kind of already started to uncover, they want to close candidates faster. And I'm sure most of you on the webinar today resonate with some of these key points that we're reading off here too. You need to manage costs, you need to improve the onboarding process, and you need our HR team to decrease time doing admin work. So solutions start with the customer needs, and at DocuSign we take responsibility for listening to our customers very seriously. And these are the pain points that we often hear. While customers recognize that the challenges you heard about, there were some fundamental issues preventing them from meeting the goals. And it included slow and costly operations, prohibitive and error-prone experience, and regulatory risk and compliance violations. Processes were not well documented and relied on an unstructured set of checks and balances, resulting in huge risks in compliance. Here's another example of the HR process, starting from the candidate offer, moving to employee onboarding, and ongoing employee management and retaining activities. As you can see, the business owners in HR must manually prepare offer letters and packages to onboard new employees. Even when investments in existing HR systems, these groups are often still reliant on paper-based and manual processes. So printing, collating, mailing offer packages, I'm sure that's all a part of your world now if you're not using DocuSign. And the amount of admin time that results can slow down the pace of business and delay start date for a new employee. So because of this unstructured paper-based process, auditors and regulars have no way to validate the compliant process were followed throughout the transaction, resulting in a high level of scrutiny and potential finance and legal ramifications. So as you can see, the internal and external processes that can definitely start to get problems occurring when you have paper-based processes. So with DocuSign's digital transaction management platform, organizations have streamlined HR process for candidates, HR, IT, and other stakeholders in the HR and onboarding and ongoing employment management process. And as you can see, offer packages can be easily distributed to candidates via DocuSign. So once the offer letter has been sent out, there's a full transparency on the status in real time. So as the candidate receives the package, opens it, and has signed it, you will be notified and you will have that information logged in DocuSign. Candidates can review and sign the offer letter anywhere, anytime, on any device. And that's actually true. I signed my DocuSign offer letter while I was in the air. You know, as I was transitioning between jobs, I was on an airplane and signed my offer letter. And so that sort of seamless transaction is definitely something that HR teams are looking to do during the onboarding process. And finally, auditors and regulars can obtain fully documented and digital trace of all processes at any time. So at a high level, this is what the opportunity looks like, and our customers are experiencing what you see here, a very disjointed process. Sure, they have ERP and CRM systems, but none of these systems are really talking to each other. And when it comes down to the time to transact, particularly if the signature is involved, at the moment of truth, things break down and become a mess. And for HR, the consequences may be dire. In some cases, it may mean losing a candidate. The answer is to keep business digital. So a digital transaction solution is a positive differentiator for your organization. You can recruit and onboard talent quickly and improve employee lifetime value and productivity. Get new hires up and running faster. And here are just some high-level use cases in HR. These are the use cases that our customers are using today, and we also use internally. So digital transaction management enables you to automate a broad range of use cases, essentially any use case throughout your organization. And I know, this may seem daunting because there's so many processes that can be automated, and so you may be asking where to start. And DocuSign actually allows for the creation and distribution of HR critical processes in minutes. So when you're looking for a jumping off point in HR, look at the high volume, low complexity processes that can bog your staff down on tactical rather than strategic initiatives. So PTO forms, policy and handbook distributions, NDAs can all largely be automated with DocuSign, allowing your team to focus on initiatives that move your organization forward, like spending time on recruiting top talent and less time shuffling and chasing paper. Here's another way to look at the use cases from implementation speed and ROI. Note that not all use cases are created equal, and some have higher return on investment than others. Some are faster to implement, and some are more complex. DocuSign has a long history of working with clients on hundreds of use cases spanning all aspects of an enterprise and their processes and applications. And so we can help you identify the portfolio of use cases that make sense for your specific business as well. This is a great story. We love to share this one. And many of you are familiar with the Net Promoter Scores, and this is the industry standard for measuring customer loyalty. You can be as low as -100, which means your customers are all detractors, or as high as 100, which means everyone is a promoter of your organization. As an example, a score of 50 is excellent. Amazon and Apple are around 68. So one of our customers, a business service company, shared with me that they measured their NPS score pre and post DocuSign for key use cases, and their score went from -11 to a +47. That's incredible. A score of -11 essentially means that customers were recommending that people not use its services, and then after implementation DocuSign, the NPS score jumped to 47, a significant increase which the customer attributes largely to the improved customer experience to users who receive with DocuSign. And now, without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Linda Mills, Director of HR at DocuSign, who will speak about how DocuSign is DocuSigning and give you a glimpse of document action with a live demo.
Thank you, Brianna. So I'm very happy to be here today to share our experience and best practices on how we can use DocuSign within our own HR organization. So just real quickly, let me get back to the slide here before I jump into the demo. So I want to share with you just some of the examples of how we use DocuSign internally and some of the documents that we send for signature. It really starts with our recruiting process. So when we identify a candidate to come in for an in-person interview, we have them sign a non-disclosure agreement, and that's often sent to the candidate prior to their interview, or they can come on site and sign the document electronically when they visit the front desk. Once we identify a candidate for hire, then we initiate our offer and new hire process, and that generally starts by sending the candidate their offer letter, their confidentiality agreement, and their release for background check via DocuSign. So here's where it gets really interesting. So once we have acceptance from a candidate, this is where we initiate sending our new hire paperwork through DocuSign. Now, if your organization is anything like ours, you have plenty of new hire forms that require completion and signature upon hire. As an example, here at DocuSign, our new hires sign and complete 10 separate documents totaling over 85 pages of paper. And to put that into perspective, on averaging, we're hiring about 50 employees a month, so that's 500 documents or over 4,000 pages of paper that we're saving just by sending things through DocuSign in an electronic process. Some of the examples of the new hire paperwork that we send to our new hires include W-4 state and tax forms, I-9 forms, direct deposit forms, handbook acknowledgement. The list really goes on. And really one of the advantages of using DocuSign is not only for new onboarding, but it's really used throughout the entire employment life cycle for such things as policy distribution and acknowledgement forms. So for example, when we have an update to a travel and expense policy, a social media policy, or even our handbook, when we need to distribute that to all employees, we do that easily and seamlessly through DocuSign and get acknowledgement and signatures back quickly. Some of the other use cases that we use are for distributing annual benefit summary plan descriptions and also sales compensation plans. So if you think about your own organization and how you are currently distributing paper-based materials, think about how you can use DocuSign to streamline that and make it a much more seamless experience. We also use DocuSign to streamline some of our internal approval processes. So for example, an employee status change form is one of the areas that we use DocuSign. And that's if we route that if an employee is up for a promotion or a transfer, or if they have a compensation change. Within our own internal processes, we have several levels of signatures and approvals that we need to obtain. So by routing these forms electronically through DocuSign, where we have multiple signers in multiple locations, we can get that done seamlessly and easily. So as you can see, there really are a variety of use cases for using DocuSign, and there's really no limit to how you can use it within your own organization. You just think about how you are currently managing new hire onboarding, or how you're currently getting papers signed in your organization. So let's talk about some of the advantages and benefits of using DocuSign. First and foremost, I mean, it really is important that it simplifies a very cumbersome paper process. The other thing that is really helpful with using DocuSign is it really eliminates a lot of the costly and unnecessary expenses and processes you might be currently using. So for example, you can eliminate overnight shipping costs and mailing costs, photocopying and faxing. A lot of those manual processes are now streamlined through DocuSign. To give you an example, last year our HR group sent over 8,000 envelopes that contained over 11,500 documents with 58,000 pages of paper. Now, if you think about how we might have managed that through a manual process, it sounds really overwhelming. But what our statistics showed us is that 26% of our documents were completed and returned to us in less than 1 hour. 54% were completed and signed in less than 1 day, and we had 79% completed in less than 1 week. The other advantage of using DocuSign is really working with a more global and mobile workforce. So, you know, today people are more technology driven, and they expect the companies that they do business with to be as well. So when you're using DocuSign with a very mobile workforce, it really allows you to easily manage the signing process when you have multiple signers in different locations. The other advantage is that, you know, today's hiring environment is very competitive. So it's important that, you know, more than ever, that you have tools that allow you to close candidates faster. In our experience, you know, some statistics specific to offer letters is that we found that 25% of our offer letters were signed by our candidates in less than 1 hour, 74% in less than a day, and we had 98% returned in less than 1 week. Another great advantage is just the visibility of always knowing where your documents are in process and who needs to sign them next. The system allows you to, you know, set automatic reminders, and so, you know, that frees up your team having to track down paper letters and understand where things are in process. You can simply set DocuSign to do that for you. Another huge advantage is accuracy. The DocuSign really eliminates incomplete documents because it allows you to set required fields within a document to ensure that they're completed correctly the first time. One of the other big advantages really is around security and privacy. So, you know, today more than ever, people are very concerned about their personally identifiable information, how that information is stored, and who has access to it. So, you know, manual processes that still have personal information on a paper-based process, whether it's, you know, being faxed or paper that's sitting out on the desk of someone, that's a real concern for people to have their personal information accessible to others. By using DocuSign, that information is securely encrypted within the system, and only specific people that are recipients of the envelope have access to that. And as Brianna touched on earlier, you know, really just, you know, the advantage of using DocuSign is to really eliminate the unnecessary administrative work of people on your team and reallocate that work so that they are doing you know, work that has a greater impact on your company's bottom line. And one thing I do want to touch on is the bulk send feature within DocuSign. So think about a process that you have today where you need to distribute a document to several people or even hundreds of people. If it's the same document, you can use the bulk send feature within DocuSign and just upload a list of email addresses, and the system will automatically create the separate individual envelopes and send those out for signature. So it just really, streamlines that process and eliminates a lot of work for your team. All right, so let's jump over to a live demo. And let me just show you, give you an idea about the signing experience. And let's see. Okay, so I'm here on the home page of my DocuSign console. And as you can see, I have on my dashboard here the document status. So I can see at any time where I have actions to take, if there's something awaiting my signature, or if there's a document that requires immediate attention, if it's going to expire soon. I can also see how many signatures or how many documents I still have out for signature, and then I have a summary of all the documents that I've completed. So I want to show you just the ease and the simplicity of actually using DocuSign to send an offer letter. So from my console, I'm simply going to go to Send, and this is essentially creating an envelope. So think of an envelope just as you would a traditional envelope. It's just a container to hold documents. So you can add one document or you can add several documents. There really is no limit. So the first thing you want to do is select the document that you want to send for signature. In this case, I'm going to browse my computer and simply just upload a document that I want to send. In this case, I'm going to be sending an offer letter for signature. So as you can see, the system has uploaded the document, and now the next step I need to take is just setting the routing order and the recipients on who's going to receive this document. In this particular case, I'm going to add myself as a signer on the document. So by adding the Add Me, it completes my email address, my name, and gives me the action to sign the document. The next thing I want to do is add the recipient of the candidate that's going to receive this signature or this document. You simply enter their email, add them as a signer. And you can see here the order. Right now, the order is that we're both listed as order number 1, meaning that as soon as we each receive this letter, we can go ahead and sign. In this particular case, though, I would prefer to have the offer letter sent to me first for signature, and then once I sign it, I would like Lindsay to sign it next. So in this case, I'm just going to drag her into the second position so that she'll actually receive the offer letter after I've signed it. The next step is simply just composing the email. So the email is what each of your recipients will receive when they're asked to sign their document. So in this case, you can add the subject line. And you can also add an email message. So you can add a message to all recipients, or you can add an individual customized message to a particular person. So in this case, my candidate, Lindsay, I'm just going to send her a quick message that only she will see. The next step is really just setting the settings on your envelope. So this is one of the great advantages as well, in that you can have DocuSign send reminders to your candidate to sign their offer letter in any amount of time that you'd like. So for example, once they receive the initial email to sign their document, you can set the envelope to or send an email reminder every 2 days since then. You also have the opportunity to set expiration dates on envelopes. So if you are making an offer to a candidate and you want them to respond in a certain amount of time, you can set the envelope to automatically expire in any amount of days that you would like. At that point, it would then send a reminder to the recipient that their envelope will expire, and give them an opportunity to sign. And if they don't, the system will automatically expire the envelope, and it will no longer be available for them to access. The final step is just really going through and tagging the document on where you want people to sign or fill in information. So in this particular case, you can see up on the left side that I'm tagging for myself. So I will go ahead and just drag and drop my signature tag onto the letter. The next step then would be to tag the document for where Lindsay is going to sign and what information I'd like her to complete. So tagging for Lindsay, I want her to have the date that she signed it. I would also like her full name on the offer letter and her signature. So as you can see, it's pretty seamless and easy to tag a document for signature. And then once you're ready to send it, it goes off to the recipients on your envelope. So I want to talk a little bit, too, about templates. So templates are used when you have the same document that you're sending over and over again to different recipients. So for example, new hire paperwork. By using templates, you just have to tag the document once and set the recipient and routing order one time, and then you can reuse that template. So let me go back now and show you how to use a template in sending new hire paperwork. So again, I'm creating the envelope, and I'm going to send a set of documents to Lindsay, my new hire. In this particular case, instead of browsing from my computer, I'm going to choose an online document. Now here, DocuSign allows you to add documents from other cloud-based services, such as Box, Google Drive, and Salesforce. In this particular case, I'm going to use one of my templates. And again, a template is already a pre-set document that has tags and recipients already noted. So in this particular case, I will send Lindsay some new hire paperwork. And as you can see, the system has already uploaded the 3 documents that I have in this new hire paperwork envelope. It includes a direct deposit form, a W-4 form, and a state tax withholding form. Again, the recipient and routing order is already predetermined. So in this case, I just need to enter the email address of my new hire and then just personalize the email message for her. And one thing I'll say, too, is that by adding her name in the subject line, this is really a helpful tip when you want to go and search your DocuSign console for all the documents that Lindsay has signed. If you have the name in the subject line, it's very easy to search on, and then it will pull up all the documents that she signed. My envelope settings are already preset, so I can just go to Next. And here I can show you that you can see that the document is already pre-tagged, so I don't have to spend time doing that. And one of the things that we talked about earlier is accuracy and completeness of getting forms signed. So as you can see here, some of these fields have a red outline. Now those are required fields, so the employee will need to make sure that they complete those sections that are required before they can finish signing the document. So that ensures that you get your paperwork back completed accurately and completely the first time you get it. These other fields here that are not outlined in red are optional fields. So your candidate can choose to add that information if it's applicable to them. So as you can see, the documents, again, are already pre-tagged, and they are set for required and non-required fields. And all you need to do is send it. So I also wanted to just touch on another important benefit and feature that we talked about earlier, and that's around visibility. So, in traditional methods of sending new hire paperwork, whether if you faxed it or mailed it, once it leaves your desk, you generally don't have any idea, where that document is, or who's, if it was even received by the recipient, or if it's even been seen. So with DocuSign, you always have visibility into all of those documents that you sent. So you can always go out to your console and see what documents are still in process. So here's an example. Yesterday I sent an offer letter to Lindsay. You can see in the summary in the history here that I sent it yesterday, that I signed it, and that Lindsay then received the envelope and actually viewed it yesterday at 8:43. So, with this kind of information, it's easy for me to maybe just pick up the phone and call Lindsay and find out if she has any questions, if there's anything I can help her with. Otherwise, I can just simply send the offer letter to her as well. And so it's just that easy, always knowing where your documents are in process and who needs to sign next. So with that, I'm hoping that this demo has given you a good understanding and a general overview of how you can use DocuSign in your business to increase your efficiencies and more importantly, reduce your workload. Brianna touched on this earlier as well, is that while there are a variety of different use cases for using DocuSign in the HR department, I would just say that DocuSign gives you and provides you a solution that you can get up and running very quickly, literally in a matter of days. You can start improving your efficiencies, you can start saving money, and more importantly, you can start improving the customer experience. DocuSign, again, it's very easy and intuitive to use. And so if you're thinking about using DocuSign in your HR group, start with a use case that has really high impact. One of the things that we use here that really streamlines processes is, again, sending documents out to all employees. So, for example, if we have to send our employee handbook out, we use the bulk send feature. It will create 100 different separate envelopes for signature, and the distribution is automatic. So whether you want to start with non-disclosure agreements or
All right, awesome. So we'll now let Alyssa take the floor and answer some questions from the audience. We do also want to promote that we will be at Dreamforce. In case you or anyone from your organization will be there, we'd love to see you. We are Titanium sponsors, so we have quite a big show floor presence. We're also giving out press juice to keep everyone hydrated and healthy at the show. So if you or any of your colleagues are going to be there, make sure to let us know. Also, feel free to use the chat function to let us know you'll be there so we can make sure to remember you. And when you come and say hi to us, we'll know you attended a webinar with us.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your presentations, Brianna and Linda. And as Brianna mentioned, we will now answer a few questions from the audience. As a reminder, you may submit questions to the Q&A function located in the lower right side of your console. Simply type your question into the field and click send. I see that some questions have come in, so let's start with this one. How do I know the person signing the document is the true person signing?
That is a great question. So think about when you're signing a paper document. How are you actually able to verify that that is your signature? Really the only way, and this is kind of a backdoor way, is by a handwriter specialist to confirm that that was actually your signature. In no other way can that document on a paper process be proven that you were the signer. Versus DocuSign, when you send that document for signature electronically, not only is it sent to your IP address, but you also need to know your email login in order to access the document because it's sent to your email. And then it's also date and time stamped once you sign that document. So you know what IP address it came from, in what location it was signed, and also what date as well. You can add third-party layers of authentication. So an SMS text can be sent to your phone with a password, and you can also have a password just protected by the person calling you and letting you know what that password is. So several layers of authentication in order to prove who that signer is.
Excellent. Here's another question. Can you integrate DocuSign with other systems?
Yes, absolutely. So another call out for Dreamforce, we have a great integration with Salesforce as well as other CRM systems. So sales teams love us because you can basically sign and send documents directly from your CRM system. We also have integrations with ERP and HR systems as well. And so more information on that, definitely contact us and ask us about what other systems you're interested in integrating with. It's definitely one of our sweet spots.
Excellent. Here's another question. Can you describe your document management capabilities? If I have 200 employees and want to quickly see all the forms that John Doe has signed, is that possible?
So yes, from an admin perspective, if you are the admin on the account, you can actually pull up all sorts of reporting based on your company and who's signing and sending what. So once that document is sent from someone within your organization, you can see how many documents they've sent. And like Linda mentioned, you can also search by name. So if you're using subject line and you're including a candidate's name, you can also see the other documents that you sent for signature to another colleague or to someone that you're onboarding. So that's a good way to search for that as well. But our admin and functionality and reporting is quite robust. So if you're interested in learning more about that, let us know.
Great. Here's another question. What kind of training do you provide for new customers?
So we have a ton of great training opportunities. Number one, your account manager or account executive, as soon as you're onboarded, is with you for a large part of the integrations. We have great solution engineers that help you with a seamless transition from your current process, the paper process, to DocuSign. And so as you saw, there's various use cases you can start with, and we're there to handhold along the way. Most of this stuff is pretty intuitive, but we want to make sure that, again, you have an easy onboarding and transition time. And so we also like to provide training, and we have a training team that can often come on site with our customer success team as well. And so lots of opportunities for training and support. We definitely don't want to leave you hanging. We want to make sure that you're getting the most out of the technology.
Fantastic. And unfortunately, that is all the time we have for questions. For those of you with questions we have not addressed, please email them to webinar@docusign.com, and we will be sure to follow up with you after today's presentation. I would like to thank Brianna Dinsmore, Linda Mills, and you for attending today. We will be sending you a follow-up email after this presentation with contact information and a link to the recorded webinar. If you have any questions in the future, you can send an email to webinar@docusign.com. Again, thank you so much for participating, and have a great remainder of the day.